Good morning, sports fans. This 25th day of February 2012. You're in the cheap seats with Josh Komnick. We're out here at the Christian Village, and Marcia Cook has stopped by here out at the Christian Village. Marcia, one, thanks for having us out this morning, and two, thanks for getting up early and joining us.
Well, thank you for being here. We always have a good time when you're here, and I know the residents enjoy it also.
As we do have a crowd here this morning of residents joining, probably just came to check out Marcia and see how well she does on air early in the morning.
No,
but
I think it's just you, Josh.
Oh, well, gee, gee, thanks. Yes, we're frequent out here at the Christian Village. The Christian Village is Lincoln's only faith-based retirement community and is the area's leader for senior living and healthcare services. The village provides quality, compassionate care in a loving Christian environment. They offer a wide array of living options for older adults, such as independent living, rehabilitation, skilled nursing, and memory care. The Christian Village, located at 1507 7th Street in Lincoln, a community of passion. And again, Marcia Cook, the community nurse liaison, is joining us here for the first few minutes of the Cheap Seats show this morning, and we wanted to get in and talk a little bit about what goes on out here at the Christian Village. And you talk about it being a community of compassion, and in your eyes as a facility here, what does that bring to the table, Marcia?
A community of compassion. I've been here quite a few years, almost 18, and I'm still surprised at the hearts that I see in our staff, the level of commitment that we have, the caring, and then our residents. Our residents are wonderful. They themselves give to us so much also. So the whole community, the residents, the staff, the volunteers, it's just unbelievable, the compassion that we have. So we call it a community of compassion.
Perfect. And it must be if you've been here for 18 years.
Yep.
And you enjoy it.
Absolutely.
We talk about your mission. We've talked about that several times since we've been out here for the Cheap Seats. But let everybody know what for you and your part, and maybe anybody else's part out here at the Christian Village, is the mission that you're trying to conquer.
My mission, and all of our mission, has always been, always will be, to serve God by taking care of older adults and giving them excellent care and support services.
Perfect, perfect. And what sets your campus apart on this nice sunny day in February, although a little bitter cold with the wind, but a beautiful campus? We're here in the fall, we're here in the summer. What sets this campus apart from some other place that you can go to in Lincoln, Logan County, outside of, and even in central Illinois?
Well, for Lincoln, we are the only faith-based community that we have here, retirement community. And also we've done very well on the 5-star rating that they have for Medicare. There's actually a 5-star rating for nursing homes, and we've consistently been a 4-star rating. So we've done very well in that area, and anybody can go on and check on that for an unbiased opinion from Medicare, and it's www.medicare.gov.
Well, we talk about in the first reading that I did, some of the services that you provide, which is a whole array of things that you have. You've done improvements to your facility. We're in a new area now in this room, a new part that we haven't been to before, and you've done some renovations here on campus. Let the listeners know what you've done and some of the services that you provide.
Well, we're in what we want to call like the bingo room.
Bingo room, I like that.
No, our new activity room, and bingo is one of the best activities I think that we have, and we do not change anything to make sure we get the bingo in the spots that they already have.
No cheating.
No, yeah, absolutely not. We've done lots of renovations. The whole building in the end will be renovated, and we have new flooring, new wallpaper, new paint, a state-of-the-art new therapy gym. It's probably the largest in the area, and we will actually have the memory care that will be remodeled also in the end. Some of the services that we provide, we're really focusing a lot on the rehab program. We have, of course, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy on site here, and we're able to provide those even to the people in the village. And then one of the newest things that we are very excited about is we have a new medical director, Dr. Mark Canty, and he's going to be able to be here once a week, and then his nurse practitioner will be here once a week also to see any of our patients that have acute needs. So that is something that I don't think any other homes have, and it's an excellent service because we're seeing people that are a lot sicker nowadays, and they're coming home from the hospitals within just a few days. So that is a great service that we're going to be able to provide to our residents.
Great. Josh Komnick along with Marcia Cook here, the community nurse liaison out here at the Christian Village, going over some of the things that Just a few of the things that the Christian Village offers here. Community events. You've got things going on all the time out here at Open House. I know in the fall we came back and there was a huge event going on. Give us some of more things that the community is involved in along with the Christian Village, or just some of the things that your residents are able to do going on here now.
On March 20th at noon, our memory care director, Pam Hill, is going to be out at the Oasis Senior Center, and she's going to be doing a seminar on caring for people that have dementia. So she is our expert, and we're going to be able to provide that to the community on March 20th at noon at the Oasis Senior Center. And then, of course, the health fair. I will be out there, and I will be able to help people with power of attorneys for health care. I can explain it to them. I have extra handouts, and it will help people sign up for those. And then in the summer, of course, we'll have our international festival again, and so we have a lot of other things coming up too.
Always something going on out here at the Christian Village. And also, Marcia, is there someone available to answer general questions about the senior resources in Logan County that they can get a hold of? If there is, what number can they call? And numbers also to the Christian Village where they can come and get a tour and things.
Oh, absolutely. I'm always available for the senior resources in Logan County. Since I've been in this position about 7 years, one of my focuses has been to help and advocate for the seniors, not just here, but also in Logan County. So I've been very active in the community and learning about what we have to offer our residents of Logan County and how can we better serve them as well as our residents here. So they can always reach me here at the Nursing Center, and the phone number is 217-732-2189, or they can call my cell phone. Actually, it's a work cell phone, 217-737-4525. If they have a question on a weekend and they have immediate need, I pretty much have all the contacts here locally for that.
Sure. And anybody they need to call specifically if they want to take a tour, or is there a website they can go to learn more about the Christian Village? Anywhere that they can learn more if they're maybe in the first process of maybe choosing somewhere for a loved one to go.
Again, our phone number is 732-2189. They can ask for myself, Marcia, or Julie Keene, and then they can go to our website, www.thechristianvillage.org, and they can get information on there as well.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Marcia, thanks for having us out again, and thanks for stopping by and letting us know and letting our listeners know what you guys offer out here.
Well, thank you for being here. We really have a fun time.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be back here out at the Christian Village with Jeff Benjamin, the voice of the Railers, and getting ready for not only regional action, but what's going on in the world of sports before Coach Alexander comes on at the second half of the show. This is the Cheap Seats, 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. Back out here at the Christian Village, 25th day of February. You're in the Cheap Seats, Josh Komnick with the voice of the Railers, Jeff Benjamin. Jeff, thanks for stopping by. I know you've been busy at basketball already this morning.
Yep, helping out with the Lincoln Trojan fundraiser tournament. It's going on at 7 different locations in and around town today, and we were at Central this morning and working the gate, and already folks showing up, and it's amazing how you can deal with the cold weather when you're young, because I don't know how many kids walked in wearing their jerseys and their shorts, and they were ready to go. But yeah, a lot of action going on in and around town, and if you're going to be around the area, don't be surprised if any place you might plan to shop or eat today, which is a good thing, is going to be nice and busy, because there's a whole bunch. I think it's 116
That's
teams.
what I've heard, yes. Yeah, and hopefully everyone's show. It's a great not only fundraiser for a local junior high, but for the community of Lincoln. Hotels have got to be ram-packed. The restaurants, and one of the restaurants we're wanting to let everybody know is out at the Lincoln Elks Lodge and Country Clubs. They're welcoming the AYBT players and parents for a tournament special buffet that goes on from today from 11 to 3. That's their lunch buffet. And then the dinner buffet is from 4 to 8. So anybody listening right now to 96.3 FM is welcome from lunch buffet from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 4 to 8 tonight for dinner. Maybe one of the places that you might get into, because it's going to be pretty well packed. Around 116 teams. You've talked about girls teams coming all the way from Alabama. I know there's several out-of-state teams, so a nice thing that they're doing. And we have a good area for it. We're right in the middle of Chicago and in St. Louis. We have the hotels. We have the different junior highs, and high school has 3 courts. Lincoln College has several courts. So a good area for a big tournament.
Yeah, they're using the junior high, Central, Washington Monroe, obviously the high school. You talked about Lincoln College, Carroll Catholic, and WLB. So just about every gym that they can find is what they're going to use. And with all the teams, the folks that have put the schedules together and done what they need to have certainly done a good job with trying to get teams, in one location. I think they're trying to focus on, like say, 4th grade boys, I think, is being centrally played at Central.
Right.
And then as they go on in different locations, they're trying to get, I know a couple of the back gym courts are going to be used out at the high school, so it's certainly a good fundraiser. They've got concessions. And so if you just love basketball and you want to watch some good young players, Lincoln's a place to be. I think admission's only $3 for adults, $2 for students and senior citizens. So you can certainly find basketball anywhere you're looking today here in Lincoln.
Talked to a young official on Wednesday night, said he was going to be doing 17 games over the next 2 days. So that young man will need a hot tub after a long week of basketball. But Jeff, I want to get into the scoreboard real quick. Going away from last night, of course, the Railers were beat last night at home to Lanphier. That was a score of 51-38. The Railers dropped that one to the Central State 8 champions, Lanphier Lions, 23-3. They finished 16-0. Now, we talked about, had there ever been a team 16-0 in the Central State 8? No, because it just went to 9 teams. So there was a team 14-0, but not 16-0. So the first team, now that the Central State 8 has 9 teams, has a team gone 16-0. The Railers finished 15-15 on the regular season, 7-9 overall in the conference. Run down some of the scores from the Central State 8 last night. Sacred Heart Griffin 63, Jacksonville 58, Southeast 82, Taylorville 39, and Chatham Glenwood squeaked out the last game of the conference by a score of 52-50 over Springfield in overtime. Chatham finishes second in the Central State 8. They finished 25-9, 14-2 on the Central State 8. Some of the scores from the local area too. Illini Central pulls off a big one they hosted the regional, and they won the regional 61-51 over Roanoke Benson. Jordan Bradshaw led them with 19. Justin Onken with 17. They're the regional champs from Illini Central, hosting their regional. So good luck to those guys. They go on to sectional play, and I got a few scores from last night. MacArthur was a loser last night, who is going to be in our regional. Eisenhower got beat by Urbana 67-63, and Normal Community beat Bloomington 78-74 as we kind of turn our heads from regular season to regional play. Those scores will be in effect as the first night, Monday already, will be Bloomington and Mount Zion, and of course the Railers will take on the winner of that game on Tuesday night at 7:30. I think Coach said somewhere around 6:50 they'll shoot the three-point contest. Of course, we'll have 4 Railers in the first round, and I'm looking at, if you're wanting to watch that, get there, and usually have a pretty good crowd for not only the regional game but for the three-point shooter. 6:45, and then MacArthur and Eisenhower take place on Wednesday night at 7:30, and then hopefully the Railers win the championship Friday. All those games are at MacArthur.
They are, and the Railers have been over in Decatur before for regional play. They've had some success over there. And this is a team that, you have to be a little bit leery, especially if you're taking on, say, MacArthur. If it ends up being the championship game where the Railers and MacArthur get there, take a look at what Illini Central did.
Right.
It's always nice to have that regional at home. You don't have to do all that traveling. So you always want to take care, and Mason City, Illini Central is able to do it. So it certainly would be nice to know that last night wasn't the last game at Roy S. Anderson this year, because the Railers, if they can get that regional, will come back to Roy S. Anderson for the sectional, most likely taking on Lanphier, although I think there's someone sitting here to my left that thinks maybe they might not even get out of the regional.
Well, I've just got a hunch. I like the Spartans, the Southeast Guards. I think they're going to do farewell against Lanphier. Now, I don't know that they're going to win, but I think they have a very good chance, if anybody is going to knock off. And then, of course, not only do the Railers and their regional come here, Springfield comes here. I believe Rantoul, the regional from Rantoul, and then the regional from Kankakee, which I don't know hardly anything about those 2 locations. But anyway, we've got a lot of work to do before we get there. But before we get Coach Al on here about 9:30 on the second half of the show here, Jeff, I wanted to turn. I know you're not necessarily an Illini fan, but you do follow, being from the area. You're more of a DePaul fan. I'm not sure why, but. The Illini have a game coming up on Sunday at home against Iowa, and boy, they're really falling fast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I mean, you take a look at some of the wins that they've had, And if their record was anywhere where everyone thinks it should be, you take a look at the wins, at home over Michigan State and over Ohio State when they were ranked in the top 10 in the country. Those are the kind of games that you build your resume on.
Right.
Those are the games that if you're on the border, you're on the bubble, that the tournament selection committee is going to say, well, look at these big wins they had. But then you turn around and you have losses to Minnesota and to Penn State.
Nebraska.
Yeah, that Nebraska.
That wasn't even a loss. That was a whooping.
Yeah, and so I'm not sure if it's the coaching, if it's the players. And I know one thing we talked about when we were up in Moline last week when we found out that Illinois had struggled and lost so poorly up to against Nebraska is the fact that the players that have been at Illinois for 2 and 3 years now have gotten, if they haven't gotten better, they certainly, if they haven't gotten worse, they certainly haven't gotten better.
Right. And that's the thing for me. Generally, you see players improve as they become sophomores or juniors, and we don't have a lot of seniors on this team, which is one nice thing you could say about the Illini team, but I don't see a lot of improvement. Yes, Myers Leonard has improved. I think Paul's improved a little bit. I'm not sure DJ Richardson has. He's not been very good this year. But that's the thing about a coach is you've got to improve your talent, or you don't. You're in a position where you are now, Bruce, with Bruce Weber fighting for his job, and we talked about it. We're not relating that he's going to lose his job, but right now, from what everybody reads or hears, it's definitely in jeopardy. The Illini 16-12 overall, 5-10 in the Big Ten. Iowa comes in really on a hot streak. They're 15-13 now, 7-8 in the conference, and the way the two teams are compared, you would think at home Illinois would have a sizable advantage, but they're not playing well, and Iowa comes in off of a win against Wisconsin and a big win before that, and that's the problem. When you're reeling, you're going good, and then when you're not, you're where Illinois is. And
one of the things we always hear is that the committee will take a look at your last 10 games, just to see where you're going. And right now, if the season ended, yes, Illinois does have more wins. They've got some big wins over some top-ranked teams, but there's also the fact that Illinois is kind of seemingly on a downward slide, while Iowa coming off the win over Wisconsin. And, tomorrow's game, and not saying that Iowa's going to make the tournament, but this could be one of those games where the committee is going to take a look and see, well, Illinois and Iowa are roughly about the same, and 2 weeks ago, Iowa was able to go to Illinois and beat the Illini. That would put the Hawkeyes ahead of Illinois probably in some of the committee members' eyes.
Well, also you're looking for the Big Ten tournament. You don't want to play on day one,
right?
And right now, I don't see there's any way the Illini make the tournament for me. I just don't know. If 10 losses in the Big Ten, some bad ones. Of course, you've got those good ones as you talked about, but for me, they've got to win the Big Ten tournament to even have a chance to get in. And I don't, the way we're going right now. Playing, but then again, you don't want to get in that day one of the Big Ten tournament because you're playing 3 games in 3 days, and not a lot of teams have been able to do that in the Big Ten tournament. That's the toughest thing. They say there's nothing to play for right now. You're not going to make the tournament. Well, you may make the NIT, but yeah, you do. You've got the Big Ten tournament left to keep some hope alive. If you remember a couple years ago, I think Minnesota made a great run and got beat out by Ohio State when what's-his-name hit that half-court shot.
Oh, yes.
He's in the NBA now, and I forget his name, is from Chicago. But, there's always a chance. If you get playing right at the right time, and Illinois has played well in the Big Ten tournament historically, but boy, it's always tough when you have to play those 3 days.
I remember the team, one of the teams that Lucas Johnson was on, I think was one of those teams where Illinois came in as maybe the 9th or 10th seed. They weren't expected to do much, and it was one upset after another, and they ended up losing in the championship game. So the Big Ten tournament, there's always that surprise on the first day. It certainly could be Illinois, but right now, if this team were to get into the tournament, do you think that would hurt them in the long run? Because one of the things that they could say as well, after all their struggles and everything, Coach Weber got them to the tournament, so we're going to keep him around.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not a Bruce Weber hater. I've enjoyed. I think he's done some things. This year, I don't think he's adjusted to his team as well. They've been able to run motion offense with the guards they've had in the past, but those guards have been really good. You've had Darren Williams, Luther Head, D. Brown. Those type of guys can get to the basket. This year, we don't have guys that want to go, or I think they can. I'm not sure that they want to, though, and I don't know that he's adjusted his offense to the team that he's had. Obviously, they haven't thrown it into Myers-Leonard enough, but should they keep him, should they not? I think it's probably time. I think he's underachieved for the last several years. And as far as pro sports to college sports, it's a business anymore, even in college, as you know. If you don't win, boosters get mad, schools get mad, and Illinois basketball is probably getting mad right now. You see some of the seats aren't filled, some of the Orange Crush aren't filling in. And then I asked you last night, we talked about it a little bit, if he were to go, who would be a guy that you would think about coming in?
Well, one of the names I've heard a lot about is Illini fans would be interested, at least seeing if he's available. If he'd be interested, is Kevin Stallings from down at Vanderbilt. He's got the Illinois ties.
Sure.
He
was at Illinois State.
Was at ISU. Was able to get some players at ISU that a lot of folks thought there's no way that someone like a Rico Hill is going to come to ISU, but he got him there. So he's familiar with the state. He's maybe already got some connections in the public league. I know there's a lot of discussion from the trustees that think, well, maybe now is the time that Illinois brings in someone who's had coaching experience in the Chicago Public League, and that would start funneling some of those kids down to the U of I. The issue with that may be there may be some coaches up there who feel that they're ready to be a college coach, and if they don't get the U of I job, would they then be more likely to turn their kids away from Illinois to say, well, if he doesn't succeed, maybe they'll start looking again. So, Shaka Smart from VCU, I've heard him. You had an interesting name last night who is about as attitude-wise of Bruce Weber as there probably is in college basketball.
Contrast, I've read some things on Frank Martin, the head basketball coach at Kansas State, who I love. I mean, I'm just a guy that a coach gets in my face, I take it, I take it, and then I run with it. I'm not I don't get mad at if a guy gets in my face, and that's exactly what he is. I mean, you've seen him in the sidelines, and he doesn't put up with much of anything. And I think, that's maybe what we need. And he's been able to win there, not with the greatest of talent. I don't think he has the greatest areas to recruit from, although he gets good talent from wherever it may be, Texas or wherever. But I think he's the type of guy that I would like to see the Illini to hire if Bruce is and I've heard that he is. I don't know how this is leaked out already, but I've heard that he is interested, whether it may be getting to a place where he can recruit a little bit better. You've got the Chicago area. Maybe, but I ask, is Illinois a better job than Kansas State? I mean, that place is a zoo when that game is going on. It's unbelievable. I love watching their games because their student section has to have every bit of, it seems like 20,000 kids there, and they're crazy.
Well, and you wonder, we talked about it last night. A lot of teams, when you see baseball teams fire a manager, they will usually go the opposite way. If they've got someone who's a real active and aggressive and boisterous kind of manager, they'll bring in the quiet guy. They'll bring in someone who kind of to calm them down, or vice versa. So if a Frank Martin were to come into Illinois, how would the players who are on the team right now, how would they respond? I mean, you take a look at a Myers-Leonard, and, just looking from the outside, it seems like players have figured out that if you can get him annoyed, you can get under his skin very, very early.
Easily.
So now if you've got a coach who's doing that to you the entire time, how would they respond to that? Because these are Bruce Weber's kids that he's brought in. How would a player like a Myers-Leonard or someone like that respond to a Frank Martin?
Well, if you get a guy that you definitely want and has interviewed well, has had success, you better like it or quick, or you're gone. I mean, if they're if they're the coach and they don't like what you're doing, then it's time to step off. So, who knows? It's going to be down to probably, if they get out early in the Big Ten tournament, don't make the NCAA, maybe play in the NIT. I would say as soon as the NIT is done, they're going to start searching if that's what the athletic director and the staff at Illinois, I'm going to say the boosters want at Illinois. If that's what they want, then that's what they're going to do right away, is hopefully get somebody in there. Not saying that I want Bruce gone, but from what you read and what you hear, it sounds like he is. And I hope the players will at least play for the last few, because he is a good coach. He's won a lot of basketball games. There was an article on Tom Izzo in the paper this week. And Izzo said, you're not going to find a better coach than Bruce Weber. And that means a lot. I don't know if people really read that and look into that on a guy that is maybe the best in college basketball as far as X's and O's and getting your guys ready to play and playing at the highest level. Izzo, there aren't much better than that. So, hey, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back here for the second half hour of the Cheap Seats out here at the Christian Village with Coach Neil Alexander from the Lincoln Community High School Railers off that loss last night to Lanphier. We're going to take another quick commercial break here. Be back just a few minutes. You're listening to WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.